Hi, welcome to Cooking with PRTC. I'm your host, Mark McRoy. Today we're going to have tortellini Alfredo. We're going to top it off with some Brussels sprouts with bacon and onion and some bread with some pesto and some mozzarella cheese. Come on back and we'll get started. Thanks for joining us. Welcome back. We're going to start off with our Brussels sprouts so they can be cooking while we're doing our Alfredo sauce and our other things. I'm going to take some bacon, about 3 strips, and as usual I use the thick cut. For one thing, it's easier to work with, and I also like the flavor because if you're going to use bacon, might as well get some bacon flavor out of it. About 2½, 3 strips. Put that in our pot, break it up a little bit. We're going to let this cook down a little. Then we're going to brown us an onion, put that in there with it. Then we'll clean up our Brussels sprouts and get all those going. Okay. I find it's easier to do it this way instead of when you bake it to start with, or you cook your bacon first, like in your frying pan. For one thing, then you have to cut it and it's hot and you don't get to use the grease. The grease is just great for flavor. We'll put that in there, put this on our oven and get it started. We're going to cover this up so it'll sweat a little, and also we'll get some moisture in there as well. Little onion. The great thing about cooking this time of the year, we've got Vidalia onions coming in. You can usually get them from your Rotary member or your Civitan member or the Band of Blue or whoever's selling them, but for crying out loud, go buy them. It's a good way to support the local causes, and also it's a great way to get some good deals on some onions. Okay. And you can never have enough onion. As always, nice sharp knife. And yes, I have fully recovered from the last episode when I cut the end of my finger off, just in case any of y'all were worried. Okay. Put this in there with our bacon. You can wait until that starts burning, but it's not going to make any difference. With the Brussels sprouts, I just love these things. We've rinsed them off. And you can get the organic ones, which are supposed to be fresher. Or you can get, I'll be honest with you, the frozen ones work just as good. And they're good all year round. Maybe one episode in the future we'll try a different way to do it. I cut the stems off just so they'll be a little bit more tender. But what we're going to do is just put these in the water and let them boil while we're cooking or preparing the rest of our things. But during the season, when you can get fresh Brussels sprouts, and we'll do this next time, but we'll quarter them, roll them in olive oil, put a good heavy coating of salt on it, and then we'll put them in the oven and let them broil. And they don't get the washed out flavor. You get to keep all the beautiful green color in there. And it just has a little bit different texture to it. But it is definitely great. It's hard to mess up a Brussels sprout. If you like Brussels sprouts. Okay. That's probably enough. We're only going to be feeding about 2 or 3 people. But the other good thing about it is you can save them and they won't go bad. They heat up real well. And they go good with just rice for leftovers. Okay. Now, we're going to put those right there. We're going to check on our bacon and onion, and we'll come right back.
Hey honey, why don't you come downstairs and check out this new high-speed internet from PRTC? Why do we wait so long to get this?
Yes, let me see how fast it is.
Why don't you go ahead and enjoy this and I'll be right back.
Hey, look at this, dear. This internet through PRTC is so fast I was able to download my mother.
Yeah, great. How are you, Mom?
Don't hi Mom me. Go out to the car and get my luggage. Then when you come back in, you can clean the bathrooms, vacuum these floors, start some supper. And while you're at it, get a real job.
High-speed internet from PRTC. Fast. Sometimes too fast.
Welcome back. We've got our bacon and our onions cooking over here, and it's starting to brown. And what we're going to do is add about 4 cups of water. Always, always be very careful when adding something like this to a hot pan. You never know how it's going to react, and you definitely don't want to get burned by it. We're going to put about a teaspoon of chicken bouillon, a little kosher salt. Don't be stingy with the salt. You don't want to drown it out, but at the same time, the salt helps take the bitterness out of the Brussels sprouts. So we're just going to put these in our water and let these cook. And just, like I said, 4 cups of water. Just put these on just a low heat and let those cook. You can put more water in there, but at the same time, we're not trying to drown it. We're just going to let them cook and absorb those flavors and let the bitterness get out of it with the salt, and it'll be just about perfect. Okay. Stir it one time. Just like beans and corn and anything else you put in a saucepan, don't spend all day stirring it. When you do that, it just turns to a mush. All right, we're going to leave it on a little bit over halfway medium heat, and then we're going to get started with our Alfredo sauce. We're going to get ready with our 3-cheese tortellini. You can buy this in the grocery, just about any of them. I find the ones that you buy in the refrigerated section are fresher. The ones that are in the cardboard boxes with the regular pasta, they tend to be a little bit flavorless, and the cheese is dried. It takes a lot of seasoning to bring out some flavor in those, so I always get the refrigerated ones. We've got our water started boiling. We're going to add a little olive oil, some chicken bouillon as always, about 2 or 3 tablespoons. Can't go bad. A little olive oil, keep the noodles from sticking together. Makes the seasoning stick to the pasta. And we're going to let that come back to a boil, and then we're going to put our pasta in there. Now, we've gotten our shrimp. Start out with just a pound. If you want it more, or you've got somebody that's a big shrimp eater, of course, buy some more shrimp. We've got our pan already hot, and we're just going to pan fry this with some garlic salt, and some regular garlic, and some butter, of course. And come over here, a couple of tablespoons of butter. As usual, if you want, you can add a little bit of butter and a little bit of olive oil, and that way it will, again, you get both good flavors, and it also cuts down your fat. Add a little garlic, minced garlic, a couple of teaspoons. Let this all nice and heat up. Then we're going to put our shrimpies in there. Okay. This doesn't have to be absolutely scalding hot. You don't want to burn your butter and thus ruin your flavor. Shrimp is also very, very delicate, which I'm sure you already know. And the great thing about shrimp, at $9 a pound, heck, it's about the same price as beef. And it tastes so much better. Put that in there. That'll be perfect. Okay. A little bit of garlic salt. Okay. A little bit of kosher salt. Just for flavor. And as soon as that starts to turn pink, it's done. But you have to flip it so both sides get to turn pink. Got a little bit of white wine. And use a Chardonnay. Chardonnays are they're not completely dry, but white wine tends to go good with seafood. Of course, if you're eating tuna, red wine goes good with it. You see it starting to change color real quick. I'm telling you what, folks, we have got to talk to Chuck about getting some kind of way to let y'all smell this while it's cooking. If it was available, I'm sure Jason would figure it out. Okay. I'm going to be real careful not to overcook it. Or my finger. Okay. Come on, shrimp. There we go. Even when they're dead, they're not cooperative. Okay. Get that in there. Oh boy, that smells good. All right. You look right over here, our water's finally starting to boil for our tortellini. And again, anytime you're messing with boiling water, be real careful. The steam itself will hurt you. I'm going to leave that cracked because if you don't, it'll boil over and as contained, and then it'll just make a mess. Leave the top just a little bit cracked and the steam will get out and it just cooks perfect. Okay. Again, we'll flip that around just a touch. Add a little bit of white wine. As our Cajun friend Just in Time used to say, never cook with something you're not willing to drink. Adds a little flavor. Okay. But this is a family show, so I'm not going to be drinking it. That's just about perfect. Okay. Put that right there. Show a little skill so I don't knock over everything. Oh man, this smells good. A little bit more butter. We'll start on our second batch. We'll have that done. Okay. If you're impatient, and I've been told I am, just stir it around, it'll melt faster. Okay. This stuff is so rich and so good. If you prefer a little heat to it, you can add Cajun seasoning, or you can add cayenne pepper, or you can put a little Texas Pete in there while it's cooking. But it's just as perfect like it is now, and if you don't over season it, you get to taste the shrimp, and it is really, really tasty. Just a pinch of garlic, pinch of salt. That's my grandmother's terminology. I never knew what a pinch was. And a little bit more minced garlic. Turn that up just a touch and get this out of the way. Okay. We're going to let that shrimp sit in that white wine and butter while we're cooking our Alfredo sauce. Gives it a little bit more flavor. It's delicious, as it is. Okay. Flip it over. Sometimes I can do that. Other times I'll sit there all day just chasing it around the pan. Could never have a job at the Waffle House. Not that talented. Okay. Got a nice little pink color to it. Add a little white wine. And folks, the shrimp is done. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is sit here and let our pasta cook. And a pound of pasta will usually feed upwards to 8 people. We're probably not going to have that many people here, but again, put it in the fridge and eat it later. We're going to break from here, come back and make our Alfredo sauce. We'll be right back. Now we're going to get started on the bread, which we are really excited about. That's what I love about these new grocery stores, is they all have a bakery and a deli, so you can usually get some really good sandwich meats and you can usually get some really good bread. This is a cheese, and I can't ever get enough cheese, but we're going to have a cheddar cheese bread. And what we're going to do, you can see the bread inside, the cheese inside it. I tried to get the good part off the top too. The bread's actually moist. I can't get over that, which is wonderful. Okay. A little olive oil to mix with our butter so it makes it a little lighter. Stir that up. Okay. Spread it nice and easy. Again, I'm a little impatient, but if you just let the butter sit at room temperature, you can spread it and it does just as good. I usually end up microwaving mine. I don't think you'll ever hear anybody say, well, that Mark McRoy, he sure is a patient camper. Okay, this is our pesto. Same with the noodles or with the pasta. You can buy this in the refrigerated section, or you can buy it in the pickle section, or you can buy it in the Italian section over by the in the deli. I get the ones that's cold. The expiration date is not as good. It won't stay in your refrigerator as long, but the flavor is so much better. I just can't say enough about it. This stuff is just off the charts with flavor. I was talking to Jason a few minutes ago. They have another kind of pesto, and I've got to find it, and if I do, I'll remember and tell you where I got it. But it is a red pepper and artichoke pesto. Oh my gosh. All right, a little bit of garlic. Tell you what, this is going to be some flavorful toast. And I like our deli here in town, but if you're ever in Charleston and you have a chance to stop by one of these groceries that are, you know, a little bit higher end, they have a marble rye, they'll have some black pumpernickel. All that stuff is just outrageously tasty. Mozzarella. Can never go bad with mozzarella. Especially if you get it fresh in the ball that's just absolutely half of it's milk. You can grate it yourself. Again, freshness, freshness, freshness. Okay. We've got our oven preheated on the low broil. We'll stick that in there just enough to let the cheese melt, and then we'll have this ready. Our pasta's almost done, and we've turned our Brussels sprouts down on low, so they're just going to stay warm for us. We'll come right back and we'll start on our sauce.
Welcome back to PRTC Digital TV. We know that you chose us over several other TV providers, and we appreciate your business. PRTC is also here to help take care of all of your other high-tech needs. As you may be aware, we offer high-speed internet, wireless phone service, long distance, multi-feature phone services, business systems, and our tech crew, providing repair and setup of computers, tablets, and smartphones. In addition, I should mention that we have superior local service installations and customer service. And finally, we are a cooperative with a mission to serve the community that we share with you, our member owners. PRTC, your only local total communications provider.
Thanks for joining us again. We're going to come over here and start with our Alfredo sauce. The ingredients are very, very simple. Stick of butter. And if you're trying to be health conscious, you don't have to use a whole stick. But for one thing, you have to make your mind up when you start, because you cannot add it once it's started cooking. So we're going to split the difference and go with a stick and a half, or half, 3/4. Okay. And consider my last experience over here. I turned the heat down, so it's going to take a second. Heavy cream and Parmesan and Romano cheese. You can use straight Parmesan or you can use straight Romano. I just mix them up so it gives a little bit different flavor and texture. Just let this butter melt. Then we're going to add the cheese. We're using 2 whole cups. The great thing about it is it doesn't go bad, and you can continue to put it in the refrigerator and eat it later. So don't feel scared about that. Just going to let this melt. You have to let the butter melt, and then you have to put the cheese in and let the cheese break down. If you decide you want more cheese after you let the cheese break down, it will not be the same. Once you put the cream in there and it starts to mix and blend, you cannot add more cheese. It'll taste horrible. The texture will be all wrong. So we're going to melt this, get a little bit of heat to it. Use a wooden spoon so you don't mess up your Teflon in your bowl. And again, we're going to add our cheese. It's a lot like making a white gravy or any kind of gravy. You can add olive oil because that's already melted. But you have to let this break down before you add the cream. And just like a gravy, if you put it in there and let it, and then try and add the gravy later, or try and add the flour, it'll get lumpy and it'll be horrible. The texture will just be all completely wrong. Okay. All right. Add a little bit of oil, about 2 tablespoons. Keep the heat to it so that it will break down. And you can see it breaking down already. Some of the ladies just came in here and told me they could smell the garlic all over the building, and that's a good thing because nothing makes you hungrier than a good smell of all this sort of stuff coming together. But we are not going to put garlic in this. All we're going to use for this is white pepper. You can use black pepper. Tastes about the same, but if you do, then it's not as pretty. Okay. So we're going to break this down. Continue to stir it. And it's coming together just perfectly. This is about the only recipe that I actually like cooking with the pre-grated Parmesan cheese. If I'm making pasta at home, my manicotti or tortellini or anything with the red sauce, I like not homemade, but fresh Parmesan and grated over it. Okay, it's breaking down perfect right now. And as long as you keep stirring it, you'll be fine. If you walk away from it, it's going to turn brown and burn. This does demand a little attention, but I can promise you it's worth every bit of it when you finish. Okay. Now, you can see this coming apart, and it's all, I don't want to be contradicting myself, but it's coming together as the recipe. But the cheese is all melted. You can't see the grains in it anymore, or the different pieces, and the oil is actually starting to separate a little bit. So, a little bit of our white pepper, a couple of tablespoons. Okay. And again, you can use black pepper. It just looks like, I don't know, it's got sand in it or something. Turn that down a little bit. And we're going to add cream. We're not going to add it all at once, because this way you can mix it in. It does a little bit better this way. And you can keep stirring it. And it'll get to the consistency and thickness you want. but it is like a gravy. But if you start out with too much oil and too much flour, you're going to end up with a gallon of sauce. Yeah, that's perfect. You have to keep the heat to it. And yes, you can hear your heart and your arteries clogging while you're cooking this. But I can promise you, if you actually take this time and do this, you'll never buy that stuff in the jar and heat it up and put it over your noodles again. You'll think that's sacrilegious. Yes, this is coming together great. A little more heat. Wish you guys could be here to taste this. This is going to be great. Okay. Folks, we're done. What we're going to do now is take a little break, come back, plate this up, and Chuck's going to find us some people to sample it, and hopefully they're going to tell you how good it is. Oh, darn, it's a waste. We'll be right back. Thank you for joining us.
There are many great reasons to come visit the PRTC Retail Center. Today we're going to tell you about one of them that you may not be familiar with, PRTC's Tech Crew. Hi, I'm Don Bellavood, the IT manager for PRTC and the head of the Tech Crew. The Tech Crew is your hometown computer services shop. We can provide you with setup, service, and repair on all your desktops, laptops, tablets, and phones. Through our retail store, we offer a wide selection of computers and accessories. The Tech Crew will provide a free diagnosis on any of your devices, and we're here to answer any questions you might have about them. We offer our services at the PRTC Retail Center, but if you prefer, we even make house calls.
When you bring your computer or device into the retail center, we provide the following services: computer upgrades, virus removal, laptop, phone, computer, and tablet repair, software installations, and computer or electronic purchase recommendations.
As Don mentioned earlier, we will also come out to your home. While we can't offer all the services that we do at the retail center, we can replace damaged parts, fix networking problems, and remove minor viral infections. We also offer a pickup and delivery service.
At our retail store, we have computers, phones, and accessories. We offer in-house financing on computers for those that qualify. We also carry new and refurbished computers, computer accessories, televisions, home phones, MP3 players and headphones, as well as cell phone accessories and much more.
So whether you need service or you just want to shop, we look forward to seeing you soon.
Welcome back to Cooking with PRTC. We have Dan and Dion, and we're going to have our tortellini Alfredo with shrimp, Brussels sprouts, and our cheese toast with pesto and mozzarella cheese. If you guys will, tell us what you think about it.
Oh, great. Thank you.
We had a great time cooking it today, and again, just look at the show. If you have any questions about the recipe, you can contact us.
That's good.
Very delicious.
Thank you very much. Shrimp was with white wine, and the sauce was simple cheese and cream and a little bit of butter. And then the Brussels sprouts were water, bacon, onion, and chicken bouillon, and that's about it. So as you can see, it was pretty simple. Just a matter of taking your time putting it together right. Thanks for joining us. Come back.